How can something as beautiful as this be dying? A plague is ruining the land, but the tree of life still stands. Question is, for how long? End is coming to the new world. The tribes stand divided, in need of someone strong enough to unite them, or bring them all down. This is a story with an unusual beginning. Welcome to BIOMUTANT. Encode your DNA. Define your genetic structure. Choose a genetic resilience. Choose your first style. Pick your main color. Choose your detail color. Pick Psy-Freak, Sentinel, Saboteur, Psy-Freak, Commando, Deadeye, Mercenary, Deadeye. Deadeye chosen. That'll work. Here's somebody with a troubled past, drawn into the spotlight of a story that's already begun. We're already at a crossroads. Choosing a path in life is that fork, but for you, it's not only a crossroad, but a choice. A reflection of your key.
Let me introduce myself. I'm the light and bright side of you, or your inner voice to be precise. An echo of balance and...
That's right. Light is only for those having difficulty seeing what's in front of them. Sticking to the me...
I'm surprised at the change of heart. I believe in putting yourself aside to help others. But helping the dark side...
You can't fight who you really are. The blood is obviously...
You're trying to keep us in the dark here. But you know it's blue blood in our veins, and what it means.
Guess left can be right, sometimes. Stories of death and the bodies left behind. A reminder that we're at the mercy of nature and the one that preys on others. Do you remember the beast that shattered your family? Or did you choose to forget? You turned your back on our world and got lost in your own. Meanwhile, the predator only grew stronger. Better make a run for it. This is not the time nor place to end this story. This time, it was best to run and live to fight another day. Let us hope you're ready for it when it comes. The predator isn't the only threat. The wildlife started to mutate when the end of days began, and the tree of life started to die. On a leash. The oil sludge is everywhere. To most, it only means death, but some have adapted to the new environment and changed with it. Evolution has its ways. Bites the dust. Slice of dust. Hey there, Crusher. Slash and dash. An emergency box from the once was. A rare sight. That pipe looks weak. The claw bar should come in handy. Whoa! It's time to find a way out of this place. No, really, I mean it. The Morks produce biomatter in their multi-organ that they shed under distress. Blobs that affect the cellular coding strands of any living being when absorbed, including you. Took care. Cutting edge. Toxanol built vessels called arks to save themselves from the impending doom. But was it too late? It is only from the flight logs of locked solid. There are few records of the chain of events that led to the big apocalypse eons ago, but it's clear the world wasn't prepared for how recklessly the Toxanol Corporation would make its mark on the world. Their rare earth mining and nuclear industries generated tons of waste, and without consideration for the future, they dumped it all in landfills until they ran out of space. That's when they made the big mistake. They began dumping the toxic waste in the surf just off the coast instead, assuming that it would sink and decay with time. And they were right, but no one was prepared for what was about to unfold. Once in the surf, the radiation interfered with the genetics of the wildlife and created bizarre mutations in their offspring. It had an inconceivable impact on biodiversity and the entire ecosystem. The world as they knew it crumbled as nature retaliated. It would never be the same again, and what remained of it became ours. Of spark metal going pew-pew is never a good thing. It's coming from behind that door. A warning label. The box looks like a potential brain melt. It's going to take a bit of puzzling to short-circuit the door. Just a few moves left. Make them count. There you go. The wheeled one is outnumbered. You'd better help him out. Keep hammering away. slash. Now that's a flesh wound. Wiped out. That's the last of them. Let's talk to the wheeled one before backup arrives. You should be able to use that. Now you understand better. He wants to thank you for taking his side against the scavengers. He sounds familiar. He presents himself as out of date. He knows he's way over. He doesn't seem surprised that you don't recognize him. You would... There have been rumors of a one-eyed Ronin seen out... The legend of the one-eyed child that grew up... The child could have been anyone, but the evil it had... It's a scar you're covering under that eye patch, isn't it? But he would have recognized you anyways. You look exactly... There's no doubt you're the child, and that what Lupa Lupin did to your It was after the attack that the Unity fell. After the old village was destroyed and you disappeared, a struggle between the families erupted and over time. Had it not been for the Tree of Life, no one would have survived. He hopes you at least remember the tree. Asks if you were tired, as it's a bit of a hike here from the village. He wonders if... Sounds like he thinks... He understands why you... The potato people, or Nono, are a wonder, somehow interlinked with this little tree here fueling its source of life. Magic? He claims it's just the force of life, the existence of energy, power. The Nono prefer to hide in glitter grass. He says you should get over there. The Nono's key energy is just what the Pensai needs to complete its cycle. The small tree you saw up there where you met will eventually grow into a tree of life. You'll need to support the tree for a long time to come. You'll need a net to catch the Nono, and he wants you to use his, but asks you to be gentle. You handle that net like you've never done anything else. He's impressed. He's grateful for all the help he can get. There's lots of Nono out there that need to be guided to the roots of the Pensai tree. Oh, it'll need a continuous flux of ki over the 20... One day, he hopes the tree will have grown. But today, your focus is getting this one to become one with the tree. Now that you've seen the Nono's connection with the tree with your own eyes, you have no reason to doubt. From this day on, he'll make nurturing the Pensai into a tree of life, a life goal. One day, the land won't be as peaceful. Not even your Muma will be able to protect us. You can already see the effects from how reckless those before us acted. He says you'd better hurry back to the village before your Muma comes looking for you. You did good here today. No, she's got lots on her mind and needs rest after the raid last night. He lost you there for a while, but no memory is alone. He says he remembers every single day he devoted to growing the Tree of Life, but now he's afraid it might be in... The tree started to die when the end of days began. Records tell of the ruinous devastation the Toxanol Corporation His friend Gizmo is working on a Mekton and needs help defeating the Jumbo Puff at the end of the West Route. Wiz is still repairing his octopod to confront the Merc Puff that dwells deep down under the surface at the end of the Northwest Route. Nocco has tamed the midget and is preparing to take on the Hoof Puff at the end of the East Route. Finally, Goop is almost done with the Goo Glide, a machine able to ride the waves of the surf all the way out to the Porky Puff at the end of the route to the southeast. Out of Date says his friends are gearing up to stop the World Eaters. The road ahead won't be easy, but he's counting on your support. His friends aren't strong enough. He wants you to understand that you'll all die if the tree isn't saved. He claims names have power, so he gave them these names to weaken them. For regard. You're getting the hang of it. Quickest way out is through the roof where they came in, and the rope looks strong enough to climb. Know that the Tree of Life is dying. Its days are numbered. Without help, it can't endure the environmental change and assault from the World Eaters. A signpost maps it out for the cartographically challenged. Let's see. Must be the World Eater that chewed off Out of Date's leg. You'll need a hat trick to bring that down. The World Eaters have made their marks on our world over time. That's not the first nor the last village it'll leave in its wake. Look, a survivor. Glad to see someone made it out alive. He's heard the stories about the terror inflicted by the World Eaters to other enclaves. He worries there won't be much left to save if this continues, even... He doesn't know what your connection is to this place, but something tells him you've stayed true to... Anyway, he needs help and says it's by your actions you'll be judged, not... He's grateful for that.
That's a spark of light in you!
That's right. Smack that spark out before it starts.
You don't have to be so harsh. It's such a little spark.
Take it out now while it's small.
There's always another spark.
There's out of date again. He must have missed something important. Out of date says you will make a better stand against the World Eaters with the support of a tribe. The Myriad tribe is likely to be a good match as they act on the understanding of the greater good and have a code of honor. Regardless of who you choose, it won't be easy, as the conflict between the tribes is worse than ever, teetering on the brink of war. The Myriad's conviction to stop the World Eaters began when the Leviathans rose from the depths of the surf. Siding with the Myriad's movement for wholeness in a fragmented world might seem like the logical thing to do, but is it the right thing? One thing's certain, though. Destiny arrives all the same. The Jagni tribe only ever had one conviction: to bring balance to the world by wiping out the weak. They believe a cleansing is necessary to restore the world, and want to let the World Eaters bring down the Tree of Life. But siding with Jagni isn't necessarily a bad thing. Fate will find a way. Out of date says someone needs to break the stalemate and shift the balance of power to either Jagni's or Myriad's side. He believes the tribe's Sifus, Myriad especially, will listen to you and expects you to pay at least one of them a visit and play your part. Myriad is convinced that defeating the World Eaters is the only way the world can be saved, but they've been forced to focus on their rivalry with the Jagni tribe. Out of date will be waiting for you beneath the Tree of Life if you lose track of what you need to do. Regardless, you'll meet again once you've played your part in the tribe war and the situation with the World Eaters. Another fork in the road. It's either the tunnel or the motor bridge. What'll it be? It's unusual that natural tunnels like this still exist. Most of them got flooded. This area was beautiful before the tribe war began. Look at it now. It's a war zone. That's the Myriad Tribe's fortress. Will they be friends or foe? You should head up there. That way you'll know. Let's see. It's a beaten path to that door. If you go there, you'd better make an entrance. Says they're wary of strangers. They're at war. Cautions you that the Sifu may be a little impatient today. The Myriad tribe act on understanding of the greater good and a code of honor. They believe uniting the tribes is the only way to restore the peace. The Sifu is convinced that defeating the World Eaters and saving the Tree of Life is the only way to make the world a better place. He welcomes you to the Myriad Fort and introduces himself as the tribe's Sifu. But he was hoping you'd show up. The news of a vigilante Ronin on crusade crossing the Great Wall. He heard you took out-of-date side against the scavengers in Bunker 101. It seems you believe in helping your He's convinced. There's something about your spirit that sparks memory. The Sifu says sometimes one memory can make another come to life. He has... Your Muma invented Wung Fu. Originally, it consisted of unarmed combat and the sick. The Sifu says it's time to set the past aside, at least for now. Unrest. Myriad wants unity between the tribes. Their goal is understanding of the greater good and establishing a code of honor. If you believe there's some good in everyone, there's still hope for tomorrow. You'll unite the tribes and defeat the World Eaters to save the Tree of Life. He didn't expect that of you. You're the essence of a being born good. It seems that the darkness that's fallen on this land has also gone to your head. He thinks you should reconsider and follow your heart instead of your mind. Otherwise, he'll have no choice but to treat you as a rival. Relieved you came to your senses and chose what's right. You would have made an enemy here today if you'd left. You're a Myriad ally now. The Myriad were placed here to fulfill a certain purpose, chosen to unite the tribes and take... Their kin have run out of options and found themselves backed into a corner. Even those who desire peace have been forced to prepare. They might bring them war, but they'll never take away their inner peace. He wants you to focus. These are the new rival outposts your tribe needs to take control of. He says you'll regret not being on their side. The only way you'll learn their secrets, Wung Fu and the tribe weapon now, is if you defeat him. And that will never happen. You both have gentle minds, so they want to wage a gentle war. A war that bonds as much as it breaks. Once you've dealt with the rivals' outposts, you'll challenge their Sifu to unite their tribe with yours and let... You were all part of the same tribe once, but without your Muma there as a guide, the disciples turned on each other and formed their own tribes. Seeing you brings back his memories of... Myriad wants unity between the tribes. Their goal is understanding of the greater good and establishing a code of honor. He remembers your kind and unselfish soul. Anyway, the memories you make with your family are... Even though it's now a...
Tulo, mudre mayo. Repanak dai never wout one platzie.
Will... Better beware, that's a mump up ahead. They were hit hard by evolution, the wonky ones especially, deformed and unfurred. You're fading. Chop it up. Looks good. Time is lost on this place, but it evokes a tingling sensation. There's something special about it, drawing you closer. Let's see. As time passes, memories fade, and sometimes feelings change. It's not about who you were, it's about who you'll become. This story is far from over. Echoes of a long-lost past, like whispers in the wind. Here's someone who takes each day as it comes. He asks how you are today. Then he wants you to know that if you find yourself going through bad times, he wonders where you've been. He hopes you've been out at the lake, practicing your swimming technique. He understands Wang Fu is hard. That's why your Muma only has 6 disciples. Doing just... He thinks you should really know how to swim by now. Why not? There's no better time to do what needs to be done than right now. He says that wasn't too bad, was it? At least you learned that you'll drown if you don't swim. But you need practice. Lots of practice. You need to rely on those who somehow know how to teach. Those willing to bend down and help you pick up your boots. You just need more time in the surf. That's the only way you'll ever learn how to swim. He won't let anyone know you can't swim. He assumes that's what you meant. Judging by your Muma's look, it seems you forgot something. You promised you'd train with her before the sun goes down. It's time to go. The dedication to training is important. You can't rely solely on the fact that Wang Fu is... You should know, practice makes perfect. She says nobody is perfect. That's why you practice.
Rizzentele.
She'll see you at the village square.
Ignavaldo tukonda.
She'll be waiting for you. There will be a surprise for you at the end. Here's another familiar face with lots on his mind. Asks how you're feeling today. His only interest when creating is that what he comes up with. He was hoping you could help him pick up some scrap for a thingamajig he's working on. It's your own future you're risking by not caring for the environment. The next generation will pay for the mistakes of the last. You should look for things that are recyclable. It shouldn't take you too long to find some. He wonders what usefulness you found. He can work wonders with almost anything and asks if you know how to upcycle. He says only a few are willing to do the little things, but if you make enough of them, they can have a big impact too. He'd love to teach. You did well, but he can't. He understands. It looks like she's starting to lose her patience. You know she doesn't like waiting for you. She wants to see you on the village square right away. She suggests she wants you to grow up and start thinking for yourself. You really need to find yourself before she's... You've always followed your own path, but this time she needs you to follow her. She wants you to understand that whatever path you choose in life, you must stay true to yourself. They look determined. Better watch out. He asks you to stop right there and wonders where you think you're going. He's not scared of anything, least of all you. There's no way they'll let you pass. He wants to know who you think you are. He says you're right. Nobody can tell him what he can and can't do. She asks if you're hurt. What happened? If confidence is silent and insecurity is loud, she thinks you're The most important thing is that you're okay. It's time to focus on your training now. She said it before. Wang Fu will keep your body in good health, and that's how you keep your mind strong and clear. Here's someone close to heart, doing what he does best. Seeing you always puts a smile on your Popsy's face. He wants to know how you're feeling. Training with Muma will make you feel better. It always does. He asks if you could help him too before you leave for training. He wishes that was true for your Muma too, but guiding the village into the future and teaching Wang Fu to her disciples seems more important for every day. He's curious to see what you've found. He's gathered so much over the years, and it's hard to remember everything. Nothing's wrong with his memory. It's just short. He can work wonders with pretty much anything, and asks if you know how to upcycle. Says at least dirty hands are proof that you tried, and that counts. That you failed this time doesn't mean you can't succeed the next. He says it's about time you learned how, and offers to teach you, starting with the scrap you found. The style might be... Agrees. At least that way it'll never go out of style. You should take it with you. Wear it to practice. He agrees that you need to keep some things to yourself, but in general, you should know that sharing is... He's looking forward to seeing what you'll make next. It seems you have a talent for this. Your Muma says it's about time you got... Hopes you're as ready as you claim to be. She says... But there's enough time left for repetition, and you need it. Training dummies don't hit back. Wants you to prove that with some practice. Your Muma says you did well today. She's so proud of you.
Inga valdo.
Thanks you for being such a good student.
Moni basa. An son bara.
Been work.
Brumblene marsamavunundun. Kana munta.
You should go see him and find out what it is. You've deserved it.
Kalino?
That's why you should be sure to thank him for... Catchy.
Aplitonumuta.
Your Muma says she's never seen an apparatus as green as this little thing. It's wonderful.
Tukonda.
She's happy you appreciate what others do.
Asana yotutupu. Mustiki muhka.
A piece of scraptronics like this has built-in old-world...
Andro?
It's called an automaton, and it's hardwired to your DNA. It'll follow wherever you go and see whatever you see.
Urasa durut.
Says it's not a record keeper, more like a companion.
Vasano kasaman varut.
Your Muma says you look tired. No wonder. It's been a long day.
Inga valdo.
She's so happy you made the most of it. Rest, and you'll find strength for tomorrow. Nothing could stop Lupa Lupin from setting the world on fire. Your Muma urges you to blaze a trail. A burnt kidling will learn to dread fire. That's just adding fuel to the flames. Give it a last burst and you'll make it.
Andoro.
Your Muma says this is it. The time has come. She must fight Lupa Lupin. This time there's no escape. She can hear him coming.
Urasa durut.
He wants to destroy her. The time to fight is coming, whether she's ready for it or not.
Kensi katya dopuluta. Recentene.
Whatever
Inadabsunka.
she tells you to stay back. This is her fight. It has nothing to do with you. History has finally caught up with her.
Andro. Kodotupu.
She loves how... Here it comes. The past coming to haunt the present. You must go through fire and water to make it out of here. Your Muma says you can make it if you believe in it. Where she goes, you go. Blood is thicker than water. You're in deep surf. The surf goes where it wants to go. It'll take you to the shore as long as you go with the flow. Death is not to be feared by one who has lived life with a pure heart. A part of her will live on in you. The creature is hungry for more. Nothing is going to stand in its way now. If a sacrifice is made for someone else, it's not lost, but passed on to the next. Life must go on. Real sacrifice comes from love and necessity when all other options are exhausted. The ultimate test of conscience is the willingness to give up anything to save what you truly care about. What you do for yourself dies with you. What you do for your kin remains and makes you immortal in their memory. As the moment fades and is lost, the only thing that remains is loneliness. It doesn't mean you'll forget your past. It simply means you need to move on.
The tribe's caught a fluffy hulk. Better watch out, it's no pet.
They couldn't keep it down. Fluff Hulk's on the loose.
Close encounter. Bang, bang.
Imetala, dola somala me, dola su, nojo noki dekipaju ki nokidenu, veitsum paptiansibia, nebepepapia.
A group of myriad crusaders already headed out to Jagni's mur-
You lekin out my namama.
You should hurry there and help them best the outpost. Not really. It's west of Bricktown. You can spot Gizmo's chug yard from the hill it resides. An emergency box? Wow. Bet that nut makes a tight fist. Toxanol was something called a corporate juggernaut, and our world still bears the marks of the massive ecological catastrophes they inflicted upon the land. The apocalypse they caused was the end of days for their world. But for us, it was simply a beginning. Tunnels like this still carry echoes from the past. Can you hear it? One at half his health. Full on key pulse. Smackdown. Running low. Took care of it.
It's all about how it's cut. Stylish as stylish can be. The trees are not giving up, even as the world ends. You found the whereabouts, the deepest, darkest forest in the land, sometimes hard to see for all the trees. Try again when you have some key energy. Half-lifed. As long as you're happy about it. That's a Jagni tribe outpost. You're fresh out of key energy. Be careful. Think of all the things you can cut with this. Mercadorpa's outpost, a Jagni tribe stronghold. Let's see. Says it's time to set the outpost free. Inflict as little... Freedom is not worth having in a world. Here's the first line of defense. That's a bomb lobber. That hit the spot, wrecked it. That twirly wheel works that drain pipe. Spin the twirly wheel and open that drain. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Everything's clocking together. Maybe this key will do it. Keep going. That cage is holding a helper. They never lost hope you'd come, but weren't sure if they'd wants revenge on those who caged them. A sharpshooter. The scaffolding looks unstable. Better stay clear of the red ray. Here's the second line of defense. Red means danger. timber. Bet a big bump will bring it down. Switched off the light. A barrel shoot. Smack it to get a barrel out of it, then hit it toward the gate and blast it. That looks splody. Kaboom! You're in. Almost there. Shoot it and watch it blow. Not too close, though. The outpost belongs to your tribe now. He says you made them weaker, but they won't give up. Your Sifu thanks you. Your tribe is growing stronger. Says you did a great job capturing the outpost. You've earned the privilege of carrying. Hopes you'll use it to do some good in the world. Out of Date says he's doing his best to keep up, but from what he can tell, it seems you're making... He had a feeling you'd get along with the Myriad tribe, but it remains to be seen what the future... You seem to share the same values as the Myriad tribe. You both have the same optimistic outlook on life. At least... But Out of Date emphasizes that solving the tribe conflict won't matter unless you help make a stand against the World Eaters. That doesn't sound good. Out of Date's forebodings are justified. The jumbo puff needs to be taken care of. He says the time has come to confront the jumbo puff. Gizmo is working on making his Mekton strong enough to endure the oxygen-deprived dead zone all the... You should get over there and see what... It's getting lighter out.
Gola, pacawa. Cawa nama bem Wando mundo awaza.
Says you'll get a special price and a wrap-up on the... Says they're known for their high... Good value. Seemed fair.
Plus, Slakoriosobia.
Solo toilausa, ontayupi, rehoyo, peruavbe.
Good use of your green. A deal to be proud of. Shopkeeper click. Shook on it. There's no time to look back. Too busy moving on. Asks you to check out the web. See what they might want to offer. sharp dealing. Always room for improvement. Not for the faint chopper. Couldn't be better. Let's build something. fine time to be outside. That's a gnote. Easy prey for Loopa-Loopin. For everyone else, they're a perfect mount and easily tamed if they are kept fed. That's a resource totem, a monument left behind by those that picked scrap, trying to keep the area clean. Looks like some solid wood scrap there. It's the chug yard. Don't be feary. It probably won't bite. Couldn't just be open, eh? Love to hear a mount's footbeat. The board mainly has posts from those that used to work at the chug yard back in the days gone. They don't make much sense these days. Not much more to say. The Toxanol Corporation used to run chugger-chuggers out of here. You're on... Tribes always scavenging for scrap, and the yard has plenty to go around. But they should have stuck to looting instead of playing around with sprockets. Bomber bonkers busy ram banging the door. This is your chance. Watch it. We are lonesome animals that spend all our life trying to be less lonesome. Looks good. That ain't bad. Let's see. Yes, you can do anything. The sky's the limit. Now, let's take this back to Earth. Wow, you really took that all the way down to the end, in flames. It's a wonder some of these up and downs still work. Guess they built machines better in the past. I need to brush up on my Wando, but I have a feeling he believes it was you that... Oh, and he says he knows you. You used to call him Gizmo. He gave you the oil-greased hat. Gizmo remembers you as a nice kidling, and he can still sense the warmth of your good heart. But Gizmo says how you experience a memory can be different. You know the story, but sometimes the truth it brings is personal. He'd lie if he claimed it was all good. You changed after your Muma and Popsy passed, and he understands why you had to leave. The old village being a constant reminder of what happened. Gizmo says he also has re-memories from the long gone, but unlike you, he doesn't think of the past, for it's gone. He understands history made Lupa Lupin a big part of your past, your present, and soon. You still believe there's some good in everyone. You still have hope for tomorrow. He says you should know that what's meant to be will always find a way, but history shouldn't consume you. Gizmo understands you still have strong feelings, but urges you to keep them under control. You've witnessed firsthand what it'll lead to.
Yes, that's the way. No arguing with that.
Sometimes your gut is flat out wrong.
Don't ever doubt yourself. You are number one.
Even the dark knows you're better than this.
Stick with me. We'll rule the world.
Would like to know if you ever doubt the choices you made on the path that brought you to this point. Would you have been happier going in a different direction? Supposes that's all any of us can do. Hard to believe the world is actually going to survive. Just seemed impossible till now. Grateful to you for coming back and doing your best to change things. You were the only chance they had. Wonders if you liked working with the Myriad. They always seemed so centered and so seeking. Figures everyone does. They seem unusually dedicated to finding them. But that's not important now. Gizmo says it's taken a long time to bring... He can't leave the Underyard as he has no protection against the vacuum in the dead zone. So you need to salvage scrap to upcycle the Mekton, starting with the old crate outside. You should return when you've retrieved the scrap. There's no time to waste if you want to make the Mekton strong enough to fight the Jumbo Puff. It's the part of the land that suffered most from the apocalypse. It's deprived of oxygen, making it next to impossible for anything but creatures that were most contorted by the contamination. Gizmo wants to help if he can. There's short of breath and death to this zone. Better take care. He who half breathes, half lives. Make sure you know how to get back. Watch your balance. Disgusting. Biohazard. Just gross. Look up, not down. Hurts less now. Just find your footing. Heads up. Feeling slashy? You have a chance to change the future for good or bad. The spent nuclear fuel that Toxanol dumped in the surf had detrimental effects on the marine habitats, while the overflowing landfills contaminated the... He says that's enough to get the Mekton functional. You'll have an engine, a fuel soaker, something he devised to salvage valuables from the ground. There are usually spots hidden beneath puddles of oily goo where you can use the net. He's been working on another project for the Mekton, a cannon, but it needs ammunition, and by that he means the script. The best way to find scripts is to go talk to Moog. He knows the ins and outs of every breathing thing left alive after the apocalypse. Unfortunately, this means you'll have to venture farther out into the dead zone than Moog's camp on the steep depot. Once you find Moog, he'll be able to give you directions to where you'll... Gizmo thinks he's a little peculiar, but very knowledgeable. He has the ins and outs of all monster and creature whereabouts. These steel legs were made for walking. Pick your path carefully by whatever you can see. The grease monkey's mekton is built sturdy, just like himself. Can you imagine how this place used to look before the dead oil flood? Might want to hold your breath before you head any further. You're about to witness the breathtaking vistas of what's known as the Dead Zone. In the old world, roads like this really led somewhere. Now, most of them lead to disaster. That over there is Steepo Depot, the cliffside that Moog hangs on to. Uppity up up.
Botse. Inmo. Tiava. Jamakuda Hodatunka Adam Wagumo Nashvaya.
This one's impressed to see you out here. He figured you'd be dead by now. Says a monster hunter hears many things on the wind.
Jamakuda Hodatunka.
Moog said choosing what to kill and what to spare are the most important.
Baba Zulu.
You might have a steady aim, but you need to be sure that you pick your targets with care. It's hard to make those life or death decisions for others, but someone's got to do it. Claims he mostly kills whoever he doesn't like. Says it's wild that the world seems to be coming back, but he supposes that means more. Wonders why you work so hard to keep things. Says you should give up on working with the stubborn myriad. He keeps trying to put out their lights and they keep putting up new ones. He's afraid you're just as stubborn as them. But enough of that, right? He says the wildlife, nature, has changed and turned against us. Instincts of survival took over when the world changed. He's not sure about their veggie diet anymore, and if it's changed, who knows what it's done with the chemical composition of the... Right now, though, he feels he's come to a point where he's got a pretty clear idea on the whereabouts of monsters, both tall and short. Says as big as they are, the world is bigger. To find where they are, you need to see where they've been. Moog says you must learn to walk before you can run. It takes practice before you can call yourself a monster hunter. Fortunately for you, he can help. He understands you need to start off with something small before you go big. There's no better place to start than a squip cave. Hunting down a couple of these little critters for yourself should keep you on your toes. Says you stick to the hunting and shots present themselves later. Let's see. Wonder who put it here. Still feel dizzy? That means you're still alive. Wait, it's the Scrip hole-up. Place is just filled with critters. More than a flesh wound. A punch crunch. Socket tool. Stand up on your own 2 feet. Ooh, a biohazard like that can make you real sick. Locked up tight? Once the volatilization from the nuclear waste evaporated, a volatile gas rose through the soil and infested structures, even Toxanol's own buildings. So, in a way, they caused their own death. Oh, idea. Go knock the lid off that sludge truck. It'll fill the place up and you can get up to that entrance there. Take this seriously, or it'll take you down. Looks like the switches need to be turned to match so enough charge can flow through the conductors. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Bristles like the hair of one electrified. You need to line up the switches so they match. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. Keep at it. What to do? Blades screaming, beware. It's darkest between the stars. Fresh air. The right key could open this. Someone locked it solid. You need to line up the switches so they match. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. The world is getting colorful again. He says that's enough scripts to sustain the Mekton's claw crane cannon with infinite ammunition. It's not his cleanest invention so far, but it gets the job done. Use it to suck up gooey... Gizmo's made vehicles before to confront the Jumbo Puff himself, but failed. But this time, it's different. The Mekton will be strong enough to do the job. It's time to put a stop to the World Eater now, otherwise he fears the damage it's caused to the tree already will be too much to handle. He asks you to not even think about taking on the Jumbo Puff on foot. You'll need the Mekton to do the job, take his word for it. There's time to improve the Mekton before you confront the Puff. There are more wreck boxes out in the dead zone with gear you should be able to equip the Mekton with on your own. He got the idea to build the Mekton when he found a big crate containing the metal frame for something Toxanol had named an exoskeleton. Gizmo wants to help if he can. Has plenty to do, so no worries.